Pretty good, yeah.
Stretching and whatever, and I go, you're a better man than I am. I'm sorry, I'm not that disciplined. I'm not
Good
that
evening.
smart.
I'm Vice Mayor Chris Horn sitting in for Mayor Hurst tonight. Welcome into the council meeting for April. Let's all stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Then remain standing for invocation tonight by Councilman Dorman. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together tonight. We ask that your guidance and hand be upon our community and all the decisions made here tonight. And we just praise you and thank you for the opportunity to live in such a wonderful community that you provide for us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, we'll begin the meeting tonight with roll call.
Mayor Hurst. Ms. Metz.
Here.
Mr. Horn.
Here.
Ms. Gregory.
Here.
Mr. Dorman.
Here.
Mr. Cox.
Here.
Mr. Fogel.
Here. All right. We're in receipt of the minutes for March 12th regular council meeting and March 26th council workshop meeting. Is there any discussion or motions on those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular council meeting on March 12th and the council workshop on March 26th.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dorman.
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Ms. Metz.
Yes.
Ms. Gregory.
Yes.
Mr. Fogel.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Mayor Hurst.
All right, Mr. Manager, do we have any correspondence to council tonight?
None was received, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to comments from citizens regarding tonight's legislation.
Nobody wants to. Make a note, we'll have to do it next time.
Seeing none, we'll move on to tonight's legislation. First up, CM-24-15. Ms. Frosch?
It's an ordinance amending section 50.09 regarding sidewalk construction and alterations in the Code of Ordinances for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio.
All right, this is a second reading, so it's title only. Mr. Manager, or?
Certainly. I can refresh your memory. This is an ordinance that we've discussed in council workshop. Mr. Herron has explained these are updates to some of the construction standards. No significant changes, but more for clarity and updates. Ben, would you like to add anything? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just got a question. I've had some folks come up to me and talk to me about this that live on Hamilton, and I know this is going to affect the folks coming up here relatively quickly with Hamilton and Spring, correct? So just wanted to see if you could give an example of like a homeowner on Hamilton having to replace their curb and gutter in front of their house when it's $45 per linear foot, and I don't know my linear foot and my measurements, so just for an example of what a homeowner would be responsible for doing that and taking care of the curbs and gutters in their area where they live in front of their house.
Sure. It's a common practice. I mean, we've been doing the curb replacements prior to paving for a long time. I mean, sometimes we get streets that the curb's impeccable, and then sometimes we get streets that absolutely need attention. Hamilton Street being one of the oldest streets in town. Obviously, it has two different types of curb, and then there's kind of a third that's kind of a cross between a barrier with a gutter plate. So what happens is they get a notification just saying, your curb will be marked in a X amount of days, which happen, I don't have the dates in front of me, and then they have a chance to go out and see what we're talking about, and then it's followed up with a letter that states that we bid for the contractor, and so the next letter they receive will explain exactly how much it is per foot, and then obviously the assessment Jill talked to the state auditor. The state auditor allowed to do a 3-year assessment. So that will help people, because if you have, you know, say you're unlucky and you have 30 feet, then you're looking at about $1,350. So what that'll do for them is that everyone will get the assessment letter, so they can all wait until they receive their invoices to either pay directly off the invoice or go ahead and do the assessment, which would be 3-year. It'd be 2 payments a year annually for 3 years, and so total of $1,350. You're looking at about $225 a payment in there somewhere. So I mean, kudos to Jill, because I wasn't familiar with how the process worked completely. And there's been people that told me just send us the bill and we'll just pay it.
Right.
But you know, this gives them 2 options.
That's great.
So we try to keep them posted on the dates. The only thing we don't have for sure is the paving date, for 2 reasons. One, because we're getting other projects done in that area, and 2, Hayes Street will be closed. Once the construction starts, then we cannot start on Hamilton Street until Hayes Street's done.
Right.
So that was an average. I mean, there's a lot of them that are under that, and there's a few that are over that. But that was a little bit a higher estimate on what we'll be looking at.
Great.
I
Thank
would
you.
also point out that it's important for the residents to understand, it's not done primarily for cosmetic purposes. The most damaging element on the streets is moisture. And if the curb is not in sound shape, that's going to allow moisture to get under the asphalt, which then it freezes and thaws and degrades the street, and it's expensive, obviously, to replace it. So it's really done for a very valid reason, to try to protect the streets and make them last as long as possible.
Okay. Just curious too, what was the last street that we had that was repaved, that was milled, and where folks had to pay for the replacement of their curbs and gutters?
What did we do last year?
Well, we didn't pave last year.
It's 2 years ago.
So in '22, we did Debron, and Debron we had 7 or 8 that
Okay.
needed
So
replaced.
not everybody.
Right,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Very good. Thank you.
no problem.
Any other questions from council? All right, do we have any motions on CM-25 or 24-15?
I make a motion, we accept ordinance CM-24-15 as written and read.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Ms. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mayor Hurst?
All right. Moving on to CM-24-16. Ms. Brush?
A resolution authorizing the donation of $10,000 to West Milton Community Celebrations Incorporated for the West Milton fireworks display for the 2024 4th of July celebration. Whereas the Village of West Milton donates a sum of money each year to help with the cost of the fireworks displayed for the 4th of July celebration, and whereas the West Milton Community Celebrations Incorporated, an Ohio 501c3 corporation, will be responsible for the fireworks display for the 2024 4th of July celebration. And whereas in order to continue this celebration that has been a tradition for the residents of West Milton for many years, council believes it to be in the best interest of the village to donate $10,000 towards the fireworks display. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the Village of West Milton, Ohio, that section 1, council authorizes the donation of $10,000 to West Milton Community Celebrations Incorporated for the cost of the fireworks display for the 2024 4th of July celebration. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force upon passage.
This donation is one that we've made as many years as I've been on council, and I know many others. We have raised that donation over the course of time, and something that we had already in the budget, so this is a planned expense to support the biggest festival that we have as a community, and probably the biggest draw that we have also from other communities to come to ours. And so we're happy to do that and are thankful for it. Mayor Sheridan, anything to add, or anybody on council?
No, I think you've said it quite well.
Okay. Any questions or anything?
No, sir.
All right. Any motions for CM-24-16?
I motion we approve resolution CM-24-16.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Ms. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
yes,
Mayor Hurst?
All right, next item, CM-24-17. Ms. Brosh?
It's an ordinance amending sections 93.30 through 93.35, regulation of weeds and grasses of the Code of Ordinances for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio.
I motion that we waiver the reading because it's very long.
Second.
Before roll call, we'll just say that the resolution is available for everyone to read. The length of it and cumbersomeness of the wording is the reason why we're foregoing the reading of it tonight. But it certainly is available for everybody to receive. So roll call.
What's that code section?
It is Chapter 30, Council Rules 30.02, waiver of reading.
Thank you. Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes?
Ms. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
yes,
Mayor Hurst?
I have one question or comment in reference to that. I know with section 4, it specifically says the municipal manager or his or her designee shall cause an annual notice to be published in a newspaper of general circulation within the municipality and posted on the village website notifying residents of the requirement of this chapter. That's a big add to this, that we're gonna have a one-time notice go out each year. So I'm just looking, this will be read again for the second time at the May council meeting, and then it'll go into effect then if approved. So when will that communication, that notification go out? I know we talked about possibly putting something out in a separate notice in with the water bill, that type of thing. Just how that publication gets out so the public and the people here in the community know how they're gonna be notified of that, and they're gonna see it.
I would expect that notice to go immediately thereafter, probably in multiple publications. Miami Valley News, we have a newspaper in Tip City that's covering the village, so we'll put it in at least 2 of those, plus the website, the Facebook page, and on the green sign.
Okay, and are we gonna do something in conjunction with the water sewer
We're
bills?
looking into the cost, because it's additional to put something in the bill of any detail.
Okay,
There's a little blurb, but that really doesn't tell you much.
doesn't cover
So
it.
we have an insert, and we have to get a cost for what that's gonna add to the bill.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good, and that, as Mr. Fogel mentioned, is a first reading. So we'll be moving on to CM-24-18. Ms.
You
Brosh?
voted on the waiver, don't you need to vote on the first? No,
No,
you don't on the
first.
first reading. Okay, sorry, thank you.
No problem.
Are we on the next one now?
Yes.
Okay. A resolution authorizing the municipal manager to renew insurance with the Public Entities Pool of Ohio. Whereas the municipality of West Milton, Ohio has been a member of the Public Entities Pool of Ohio since 2022, and whereas the insurance is due for renewal effective April 1st, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of West Milton, Ohio, that section 1, the council hereby authorizes the municipal manager to execute the proper contractual documents to renew said insurance with the Public Entities Pool of Ohio for a policy term of 1 year from April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025 for all coverages at a rate of $65,230. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force upon final passage.
All right, Manager Sheridan?
Yeah, this explains it very well. We talked about it at the council workshop. I'm happy to answer any questions council might have.
We said that it was an increase, but it was still far below, or no, that was our property
It
insurance,
was
I'm
an
sorry.
increase, but still less than what we were paying
That's
when we
right,
made
okay.
the switch from 2021
Right.
to 2022.
Yeah, okay,
And if I didn't point it out, the actual pool we were in then is now disbanded.
right, okay. So good move. All right, any questions or comments from council? All right, entertain motions for CM-28-18, or 24-18?
I'll make a motion to approve CM 24-18.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Ms. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mayor Hurst.
All right, next on the agenda, CM-24-19. Ms. Frosch?
A resolution approving the preliminary lighting plan for Stillwater Crossing South Development in the municipality of West Milton, Ohio. Whereas the lack of street lighting in the Stillwater Crossing South Development has been an ongoing topic of discussion for the council of the municipality of West Milton due to safety concerns. And whereas after many discussions, the developer has presented a preliminary lighting plan for the placement of streetlights based on the input received from council and municipal employees. And whereas council believes that the preliminary lighting plan is in the municipality's best interest. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of West Milton, Ohio, that section 1, council hereby approves the preliminary lighting plan for Stillwater Crossing South Development attached here to as Exhibit A. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force upon passage.
All right, Manager Sheridan, anything to add?
Only just a reminder, as you may remember, the original development agreement for Stillwater Crossing South did not include street lighting. The council wasn't necessarily aware of that fact. When we became aware of it and contacted the developer about the issue, he hired his engineer to put together a lighting plan. When asked what he should base it on, I simply said the normal development that's required in our ordinance, which they followed, and presented a plan to you. After our review, we determined that there was some a deficiency in the cul-de-sacs. And so we asked that I think it's 5 or 6 additional light luminaires added, and the developer agreed to that. So this is the last step that will allow the developer to enter a contract with Miami Valley Lighting. It still will be several months before Miami Valley can make the installation, but then the village will maintain the light fixtures and pay the electric bill separate from the HOA or the developer.
As we do with all the other
Correct,
streetlights in
yes,
town.
that was my, I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say.
I just want to make sure
No,
I
I-
understood that
yes.
that's consistent with how we do business on all the lighting in town.
Exactly,
And
yes.
just confirming again that the developer is paying for this, and nothing is coming from the village, and nothing's coming from the residents to put the lights in
The
themselves.
developer is paying all the cost of the installation and purchase of the streetlights.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, roll call, please. I'm sorry.
I move we
Thank you.
accept resolution CM-24-19.
A second.
There you go. Now we'll do roll call.
Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Ms. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mayor Hurst.
All right, and last on the agenda for legislation tonight, CM-24-20. Ms. Brush?
A resolution for the municipality to hire a contractor to replace curbs prior to the beginning of the 2024 paving program. Whereas well-maintained streets and curbs are a priority of council, and whereas in 2024, portions of Hamilton Street and Spring Street will be milled and resurfaced, and whereas in the project areas, there are curbs that need to be replaced prior to milling and paving, and whereas if the repairs have not been made by the owner prior to the deadline for the beginning of the project, the municipality will utilize its own contractor to make the curb repairs while invoicing each property owner for the total cost of their curb replacement. And whereas the formal bidding took place in accordance with West Milton Municipal Ordinance 33.18, Section 3, and the bidding process produced an acceptable contractor to perform said project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the council authorizes this work to be performed by DAC Concrete and Excavating of State Route 718 in Troy, Ohio, in an amount not to exceed $40,000. Section 2, council hereby authorizes the Director of Service to execute all the proper documents. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage.
All right, Manager Sheridan?
Has been discussed in previous workshops, this is an update to an ordinance. There's no significant change. The policy's the same. It was just important to make some updates and corrections to make it more clear exactly what the village's policies are.
I think you're talking about, we're on the last one to hire the contractor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're talking about the other curb.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is, my apologies.
No worries.
Mr. Herron took bids, and we got 2 good bids, and this is to hire the lower of the 2 bids.
Very good. Any questions?
Sure. I just have one question with that. So I assume that the not to exceed amount of 40,000 is just from previous experience with having to replace the curbs at other areas within town, because I just was wondering how that figure came to be, because we don't, some people are gonna pay for it out of their own pocket, or some people they're gonna get, the bill from the village for doing it. So
Right.
I just wanted to see how that,
That
How
won't
that-
change the total amount, how
Okay.
they pay for
Yeah.
it.
okay.
Yeah, that'll cover the total amount of the project. And actually, it's lower than that. I wanted to put the 40,000 in, so council had some broad idea at least of how much we were
Okay.
talking about.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, any motions on CM-24-20?
Make a motion, we accept resolution CM-24-20 as written and read.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Ms. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mayor Hurst.
All right, that brings a conclusion to our legislation for tonight. Now it's time for the manager's report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I actually had the opportunity today to meet with a company interested in locating in the village. I would describe it as a financial services company. I don't know exactly how many employees that might involve, and they've not made a final decision, but they were interested in the village because of the growth that's occurring. The other item I would update you on, as you recall, at our most recent meeting with the school board and the township trustees, one of the topics we discussed was traffic in and around the schools, primarily Haskett and Hamilton, and the idea of possibly doing a traffic study to look at what options to improve that area might be. So I talked with our engineers and invited them to our council workshop on the 23rd, and so we could discuss that topic in greater detail, and wanted to make sure that council was comfortable. I think if we invited the school board and the township trustees to join us, then all the people at the right table to talk about what that traffic study might look like. That make sense?
Sounds great.
Yep, sounds like a
Consider
good
it-
idea.
That's an invitation, but I'll get a hold of everybody in the school board. So that'll be on the agenda for the 23rd.
Did the engineers respond as to whether they were open to coming? Or?
Yes, they're
Okay,
available. They
okay.
will be here on the 23rd.
Okay,
And what I would expect, if we move forward, is that the village, in conjunction with the township and the school board, would issue an RFP and allow multiple firms to give us their perspective and cost of such a study. So I'd like to get different opinions on how we might approach it. And to remind everyone, the most important part about involving them at this is if we're gonna pay for everything out of our pocket, it won't be as important to have the study. But if you want any chance at getting any grant money, you'll need a traffic study, not just, well, we're gonna try this. So there has to be some basis of why you're doing what you're doing. One of the pieces of that is that the village now has its own traffic counters, so we can put those on and get traffic counts on different roads on different days and have that data for our own benefit. And I think that was a significant improvement in our ability to manage traffic within the village. So I certainly appreciate Mr. Herron going out and finding those and procuring them for our staff.
Okay, good,
That's it.
okay, that's,
For that
Any-
workshop, Mr. Kaufman and Jason, I forget.
They
his-
will also be
they're gonna
here to give their
right?
update on Stillwater Crossings.
Okay,
That'll be on the same thing they'll be on the same agenda.
very good.
very good. All right, we need to move back to excuse members. We overlooked one at our March 12th council meeting. Councilman Dorman was not present, nor did we excuse him that evening in looking at the minutes. I thought we had, and we skipped over it, so are there any motions to excuse Councilman Dorman from the March 12th meeting?
I move we excuse Council Dorman from the March meeting.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Mr. Dorman,
Abstain?
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Ms. Metz,
Yes.
Ms. Gregory,
Yes.
Mr. Fogel,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mayor Hurst.
All right, now on to old business. Anybody have any old business, Scott?
I just have one question for Mr. Herron and Mr. Sheridan. So I know it's gonna affect a lot of people here coming up, and the Hayes Street start of the project, since that's gonna be shut down with the new water main. Do we have a date yet of when that's going to start?
I want to say the second or third week in April.
Because I know I
The
read through.
signs say April 22nd, I believe, that FinFrock put up there.
Yeah,
Because I saw that there was a notice, and we talked about this at the workshop, that there was gonna be some type of notice of the road closure 10 days before that date.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
that
think
would
they-
be coming up pretty soon,
yeah,
so,
I think we were looking at the 22nd.
okay.
They gave a tentative begin, but I know that, all the sign locations have been oopsed, so I know they're getting ready to put the signs up.
So we'll see that
So,
out soon.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, any new business?
I don't know if it's new business, but, comment. I wanted to thank Project Revival for the solar eclipse party yesterday. I think it was amazing. I think there was a really good turnout and a beautiful day, and it's just cool that all those volunteers put that hard work in to bring people together, and I think it was really good. So thank you, everyone who did that.
Good job.
The listing of the planning board is a typo. That should have come off of this agenda. I apologize.
Okay. Do we still have a vacancy?
No. we've
No.
got- We do, but we don't have a candidate.
Right,
So
we don't
that's-
have any, so
right,
if
right.
anybody knows anybody,
We,
then,
we still need a fifth
Okay.
member of the planning board.
right. Okay, very good. All right, that brings us to comments by citizens tonight. If you have any comments to make, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and make your comment.
My name is Michael Coe. I live at 126 Rock Hill Drive here in the village. Just kind of wanted to approach council this evening. I sit on a board with the Union Township Life Squad, and it's the Miami Southwest Joint Ambulance District. One of the consequences of this new development on this side is the previous village manager and council sidestepped the Union Township Life Squad and said, hey, we're gonna get the developer, the money that goes to the Life Squad. And I'm bothered because every single taxpayer in this village, you own a house, you pay into the pot for the Life Squad service. The first time 2 weeks ago, I got taken by ambulance to Miami Valley. You know, thank God I paid for that service. Unfortunately, the Life Squad is not getting their tax dollars from that area. And Randall House is going to be a major problem. And every time they go out there, they're going out there, they're using their own gas money. The money that you and I pay and nobody else out there pays it. It's not right. And I'm not upset with this council. I'm not upset with the city manager. I'm not upset with anybody. But we've got to do something to resolve that. And I don't know what's that going to take. You know, we've approached the council. A lot of questions have been asked for us to respond to. But we want to continue to dialogue and engage in conversation. I've been on this board since I was on council 10 years ago. And we've talked about it, and we tried with Matt Klein to no avail. We're trying with this council, and it just bothers me because we all pay into it. And it's just not fair for us. It's just like people who live here in the village of West Milton, you refuse to pay your income tax, 1.5% of your income. What if 10% of the people in this town decide, no, we're not going to pay that? You would go after them hard, wouldn't you? They'd pay fine, they'd be penalized. Life Squad, they don't have the ability to do that. And so I just want to encourage council to take this seriously because it needs to be resolved, not 6 months from now. We need to kind of move on that here in the next few months, I believe. Because Randall House, I believe, is operational. Is that correct? I'm not been up there on the streets, but I just want to encourage you in that way. I'm not looking for an answer tonight, but I just want to challenge you. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments from citizens tonight? All right, seeing none, are there any motions to adjourn?
A motion we adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting adjourned.